So the world has changed immeasurably since we first conducted the World Risk Poll in 2019. The COVID pandemic has had a significant impact on people's lives across the globe. But what's the impact been on people's perception of risk and safety and their experience of other risks? We expected to see a big impact of COVID in the 2021 World Risk Poll results. And in fact, that's not what we saw. If you compare the 2021 results to 2019, we find a slight increase in the proportion of people who felt less safe than when we asked that question in 2019. So in 2019, 30% of the global population felt less safe. In 2021, it had risen to 34%.
It is understandable that people are more worried today than they were 5 years ago. We're coming out of a very stressful period with lockdowns, a big pandemic. The World Risk Poll gives us a lot of very interesting information of how people perceive their risk internationally. We haven't had that so far, and it shows that what people worry about the most is road traffic crashes and violence.
So we know from the psychology of risk perception that people aren't just worried about risks that are more likely to happen. They also worry about risks that have very bad consequences. And so that might be why people worry about violence more than they worry about accidents at work, even though accidents at work might be more likely than violent attacks.
So compared to 2019, there were two everyday risks that really stood out as having increased significantly across that time. So people's experience of mental health issues and also their experience of severe weather. There's a whole spectrum of risks that feature more readily in their concerns about their lives than COVID did.
And I think that's important to understand. Risks are not just statistics. They are also what we feel about them. So policymakers can use that to understand what risks people are worried about, even if the risks are not common, so that they can implement policies that make people safe from common risks, but also make people feel safe from the risks that they are really worried about.
And so we have what we need in order to address these issues. What is lacking is really political will and widespread interventions all over the world. And we hope that the World Risk Poll will contribute to generating more action by policymakers, as well as encourage individuals to speak up and demand more action.
And so the call to action for the 2021 data is for researchers, governments, industry, regulators to be aware of the data set and to really think about how they can use it to identify people who are at risk and then to work with those individuals to design interventions that can help them to be safer and to feel safer.